Hello, hi, and welcome to M5's new English learning program. Let's speak English. Learn English, sitting down, in front of your TV. I'm Gav Duncan, and I'm here on your TV to help you improve your English. Welcome to Let's Speak English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay then, let's learn English. Okay, today, wait for it. Today, it's time to look at the present simple. Way! Fantastic horses, monkeys and cows. That's right. It's time to learn some verbs. Magic! Verbs! Okay, so which verbs do we know? Well, we know the verbs to be, to watch, to learn, to look at. We know lots of verbs. Here are some really useful verbs. To come, to go, to live, to work, to read, to write, to drive, to walk, to run, to swim, to like, and to love. Okay, Mabel, table. To come, to go, to live, to work, to read, to write, to drive, to walk, to run, to swim, to like, to love, to wash, to hate, to wake up, to get up, to fly, to carry. Okay, so now we know some more verbs. Now, when do we use the present simple with verbs? Well, we use the present simple to talk about things that are true. We also use the present simple to talk about things which happen sometimes or all the time. Now, let's look at some words we use to talk about time. Words we use when we use the present simple. Have a look at the list of words we use to talk about when or how often we do things. Always, never, every day, every Saturday, sometimes, 3 times a week, every weekend, twice a year, usually, normally. Let me give you an example, a very simple example. My name is Gav. This sentence is in the present simple tense. Why do we use the present simple for names? Well, names always stay the same. Well, nearly always. Normally, the name you have when you're born is the name you have all your life. It's true, all the time. Okay, what else stays the same? Well, what about your birthday? It's on the same day every year. It doesn't change. So I always say, my birthday is on the 23rd of November. Now, do you remember why I use on? That's right. Remember when we learned about prepositions of time with Terry the squirrel? That's right. We learned 3 prepositions of time: at, on, and in. Do you remember when we use them? We use at for clock times. I wake up at 7:45 a.m. We use on for days and dates. I work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And I relax on Saturday and Sunday. Christmas Day is on the 25th of December in the UK. Okay, well, what about something else which doesn't change? What about where I live? I say, I live in Hungary. It's the same all the time. Now, do you remember that we learned 5 spelling groups for nouns? Good. Well, with the verbs in the present simple tense, we also have some spelling changes. In the present simple tense, the third person singular, he, she, it, is spelt differently to the other parts of the verb. Let's take a look at the verb to read. I read, you read. He, she, it reads. We read. You read. They read. Did you notice the difference? That's right. We use the same form for everyone, but not for he, she, it. The third person singular, he, she, it, adds an S to the end of the verb. Now, do you remember the 5 groups of nouns? We learned that when we change a noun from a singular into a plural, we change the spelling. There were 5 groups. Do you remember the groups? First, there is group 1. We change these nouns from singular to plural by adding S to the end of the noun. Then there is group 2. The second group are nouns which end in S, SH, CH and X. We change these nouns from singular to plural by adding ES. Then there's group 3. The third group are nouns which end in Y. If the noun ends in consonant plus Y, then we change the singular to plural by changing the Y to IES. Also in this group, we have nouns which end in vowel plus Y. We change these nouns from singular to plural by adding S. Okay, so now let's look at group 4. The fourth group are nouns which end in F or FE. To make these nouns plural, we change the F or FE to VES. Okay, so we know about the different groups and the way we change singular nouns to make them plural. Now, some nouns are irregular. These nouns are illogical, so we have to learn and remember them. Okay, so now there are 5 groups. Group number 5 is the irregular group. Here, in group 5, logic is dead. Here are some more irregular nouns, singular and plural. Now, let's think about group 3. Nouns in group 3 have different spellings if they end in vowel plus Y or consonant plus Y. Do you remember vowels and consonants? That's right. Vowels are A, E, I, O and U. And consonants are all the other letters in the alphabet. B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y and Z. Now, we need to think about vowels and consonants with some verbs in the present simple tense. Look at these 2 verbs, to play and to fly. To play ends in vowel plus Y. This means that in the third person singular, he, she, it, we add an S, like most verbs in the present simple tense. To fly ends in consonant plus Y. This means that in the third person singular, we change the Y to IES. I play, you play, he, she, it plays. We play, you play, they play. I fly, you fly, he, she, it flies. We fly, you fly, they fly. So, now we can see 2 different spelling changes. With most verbs, we add an S to the third person singular in the present simple tense. But if the verb ends in consonant plus Y, then we change the Y to IES. Now, what about irregular verbs? Well, the verb to go is irregular. In the third person singular, it changes to goes, like this. I go, you go, he, she, it goes. We go, you go, they go. The verb to go changes to goes in the third person singular, because it belongs to a group of irregular verbs. If the verb ends in ss, x, ch, sh or o, then we add es to the third person singular. Okay, let's look at that again. We add s to most verbs in the third person singular. He, she, it. We add es to irregular verbs which end in ss or x or ch or sh or o in the third person singular. If the verb ends in consonant plus y, then we change the y to ies in the third person singular. Okay, so we know the rules. I know the rules, you know the rules, and he knows the rules. She knows the rules, and it knows the rules. Magic! Horses, donkeys, zebras, and gnu's. Right, well, let's look at the verbs we know and make sentences with them. Let's look at a couple of examples first. He's a helicopter pilot. He flies helicopters every day. You're a taxi driver. You drive a taxi. Good, great, easy peasy. Now, let's turn these into sentences too. He works in a bank. He goes to work at 7:40 every morning. Great, fantastic. That was a little sneaky. We had to select the correct present simple form for the third person singular for the verb to work. He works, she works, it works. Then we had to select the correct form for the third person singular for an irregular verb, the verb to go. The verb to go ends in o, so the correct form for the third person singular is not s, but es. Then, as an extra test, we remembered that we use the preposition at with clock times. Blimey, crikey, phew! Okay, are we ready for the next one? Yes? Good. Here we go. She's Hungarian. She lives in Miskolc. That one was easy. Next. We read a newspaper sometimes. They are students. They write reports every week. My grandmother lives near the market. She walks to the market every weekend. Alfredo Benchfield likes sport. He runs 3 times a week. Doreen Benchfield likes sport. She swims every weekend. Jenny Wren goes on holiday twice a year. I usually wash my hair 4 times a week. She hates broccoli. She never eats broccoli. They wake up at 6:45 a.m. every weekday. He wakes up at 11 a.m. every Saturday. I get up at 7:45 a.m. every day. Pilots fly every day. He's a policeman in America. He carries a gun. That's all we have time for today. But next lesson, we'll learn some more verbs and practice making sentences with them. Today we learned some new verbs and some new words to tell us how often we do things. Every day, every week, every month, every year. Well, time's up for this lesson, so I'll see you next time. I had fun today. I hope you had fun too. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Idi Amin. I'll see you next lesson for more English fun. Thanks for watching M5's new English learning program, Let's Speak English. See you later. Bye. Hello, hi, and welcome to M5's new English learning program, Let's Speak English. Learn English sitting down in front of your TV. I'm Gav Duncan, and I'm here on your TV to help you improve your English. Welcome to Let's Speak English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, then let's learn English together. So, we learned some new verbs and we learned what changes we make when we use the third person singular form. Great. Now, today, let's start with some more new verbs. Let's look at verbs that we use every day. Let's look at daily routine. Okay, so this should be easy. Daily routine. Okay, let's start with my daily routine and see which verbs we use. I wake up at 7:45. I get up at 8 o'clock. I have a shower. In the shower, I wash myself. I wash my face, my armpits, my torso, my legs, my knees, my feet, and everything else. Then I shave. After my shower, I dry myself with a towel and brush my teeth. Then I put on some antiperspirant. I don't comb or brush my hair, I just put some gel in my hair. When my hair is perfect, I get dressed. I put on my socks and pants, and then I put on my jeans and a t-shirt. If I'm cold, I put on a sweatshirt or a jumper. When I'm dressed, I make breakfast. I cook eggs for breakfast. My wife, Evie, likes fried eggs. I like omelettes. We drink coffee and mineral water for breakfast. I like sparkling mineral water, water with bubbles. Evie likes still mineral water, water without bubbles. After breakfast, I wash up the dishes. Then we start work. Okay, by the moustache of Magnum PI, that's a lot of information. Let's have a closer look at the verbs I used. To wake up, to get up, to have a shower, to wash, to shave, to dry, to brush your teeth, to comb, to brush, to get dressed, to make, to cook, to like, to drink, to wash up, to start, to put on. Okay, well, let's think about the verbs I used to talk about my morning routine. What happens to the verbs when we use them for the third person singular? Do you remember what we learned last lesson? That's right, the change of spelling for third person singular verbs in the present simple tense. Do you remember what we normally add to the third person singular? That's right, we normally add s, but some verbs are different, aren't they? Remember? We add s to most verbs in the third person singular, he, she, it. We add es to irregular verbs which end in ss or x or ch or sh or o in the third person singular. If the verb ends in consonant plus y, then we change the y to ies in the third person singular. So, let's look at the verbs in the table and see what happens to the third person singular form. Okay, now, what about the negative in the present simple tense? How do we make the negative? Well, the present simple negative is don't, doesn't, plus the verb. Look at these examples. I like coffee. I don't like coffee. I brush my hair every day. I don't brush my hair every day. I cook eggs every morning. I don't cook eggs every morning. I wake up at 7:45 a.m. I don't wake up at 7:45 a.m. Great. Now let's look at what happens with you, he, she, it, and the plural forms. I get up. I don't, do not get up. You like. You don't, do not like. He, she, it works. He, she, it doesn't, does not work. We cook. We don't, do not cook. You speak French. You don't, do not speak French. They wake up at 6:30. They don't, do not wake up at 6:30. So, that's easy enough, isn't it? When we want to make the negative in the present simple, we use don't and doesn't. We use don't, do not, for I, you, we, you, and they. We use doesn't, does not, for the third person singular, he, she, and it. When we make a negative sentence for the third person singular, we don't add anything to the verb. We use doesn't and then add the verb. We don't say he doesn't works all day. We say he doesn't work all day. We don't say she doesn't likes tea. We say she doesn't like tea. We don't say it doesn't goes fast. We say it doesn't go fast. So, we have to remember two things. One, we use don't, do not for I, you, we, you, and they. We use doesn't, does not with he, she, and it. We use don't, do not, and doesn't, does not with the infinitive. Read, watch, sit, drive, etc. We don't change the third person singular form in the present simple negative. If the positive sentence is he drives, then the negative sentence is not he doesn't drives. The negative sentence is he doesn't drive. Okay, so we know how to make sentences with the present simple tense. We know that we have to be careful with the third person singular in positive sentences because we have to change the ending of the verb. Sometimes we add an S, but if the verb ends in SS or X or CH or O, we add ES to the end. If the verb ends in consonant plus Y, we change the Y to IES. I drink, he drinks. You fly, she flies. They go, it goes. We also know how to make negative sentences with the present simple tense. We make the present simple negative by using don't, do not, and doesn't, does not, with the infinitive. Read, write, watch, etc. I don't read the newspaper. He doesn't read the newspaper. You don't write books. She doesn't write books. They don't watch TV. He doesn't watch TV. Okay, you know what we need to learn next. That's right, how to make a question with the present simple. Okay, well, how do we make a question with the present simple? It's easy. We use do and does in present simple questions. Time for a table, Mabel. I work. Do I work? You work. Do you work? He, she, it works. Does he, she, it work? We work. Do we work? You work. Do you work? They work. Do they work? Okay, so we use do for I, you, we, you and they. And we use does for he, she and it. Simple. Now, let's look at the structure of the question. We use do or does. Then we add the person or thing, the subject. And then we add the infinitive, read, watch, work, like this. Does he work? Does plus he, the subject, plus the infinitive, work. Easy. We often ask the question, what do you do? This is the same as, what is your job? If someone asks me, what do you do? I say, I'm a teacher. Good. Now let's make the following into questions and then answer the questions. Do you like coffee? Yes, I like coffee. Where do you work? I work in Budapest. When do you wake up? I wake up at 6:45 a.m. Does your dog bite? No, it doesn't bite. Does your sister like wine? Yes, she likes wine. Do they play tennis? No, they don't play tennis. Where do you live? I live in Budapest. Where does Gérard Depardieu live? He lives in Moscow. Fantastic! We can make sentences with verbs. Brilliant! Now, let's use the information we learned about my daily routine in another way. Let's change I to he. Now, are we ready? Yes? Terrific! But one last thing before we start. Remember that we have to change from I to he. Okay, but this also means other changes. Myself becomes himself. My face becomes his face. My becomes his. We becomes they. He wakes up at 7:45. He gets up at 8 o'clock. He has a shower. In the shower, he washes himself. He washes his face, his armpits, his torso, his legs, his knees, his feet, and everything else. Then he shaves. After his shower, he dries himself with a towel and brushes his teeth. Then he puts on some antiperspirant. He doesn't comb or brush his hair, he just puts some gel in his hair. When his hair is perfect, he gets dressed. He puts on his socks and pants, and then he puts on his jeans and a t-shirt. If he's cold, he puts on a sweatshirt or a jumper. When he's dressed, he makes breakfast. He cooks eggs for breakfast. His wife, Evie, likes fried eggs. He likes omelettes. They drink coffee and mineral water for breakfast. He likes sparkling mineral water, water with bubbles. Evie likes still mineral water, water without bubbles. After breakfast, he washes up the dishes. Then they start work. My God, blimey, crikey, gadzooks, struth. Well, that was long and hard, wasn't it? That's all we have time for today. But next lesson, we'll learn some more verbs and practice making sentences with them. Today we learned some new verbs and practiced the present simple with negatives and questions. Well, time's up for this lesson, so I'll see you next time. I had fun today. I hope you had fun too. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Idi Amin. I'll see you next lesson for more English fun. Thanks for watching M5's new English learning program, Let's Speak English. See you later. Bye. Hello, hi, and welcome to M5's new English learning program, Let's Speak English. Learn English sitting down in front of your TV. I'm Gav Duncan, and I'm here on your TV to help you improve your English. Welcome to Let's Speak English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's English? Yes? Good. Okay, then let's learn English. Now, what do you remember about this week's lessons? This week, we learned about the present simple tense. We learned that we use the present simple tense with general time when we talk about things that happen all the time, or regularly, or at any time. Do you remember? We use the present simple with things that are always true. Let's look at the first sentence. I wake up at 7:45. Easy. What does this change to? How do we change this sentence into the third person singular so that it's not I, but he? Well, this sentence is simple to change. We just have to change the verb to the third person singular. How do we do that? That's right. We add an S to the end of the verb in the third person singular. I wake up, you wake up, he, she, it wakes up. We wake up, you wake up, they wake up. So, the sentence changes from I wake up at 7:45 to he wakes up at 7:45. Simple. Next, I get up at 8 o'clock. Okay, so how do we change this one? Simple. All we have to do is to change the verb like we did in the first sentence. I get up, you get up, he, she, it gets up. We get up, you get up, they get up. So, the sentence changes from I get up at 8 o'clock to he gets up at 8 o'clock. Easy. Right. Next. I have a shower. So, how do we change this sentence? We have to change the verb into the third person singular, but have is irregular, so we can't just add S. Do you remember when we used the verb to have before? Do you remember we used it to talk about possession in lesson 19? We learned about using the verb to have and have got to talk about possession. Doreen's got yellow teeth. Now, Doreen is she. Doreen is the third person singular. So what happens to the verb to have when it's the third person singular? That's right. It becomes has. I have, you have, he, she, it has. We have, you have, they have. Right. So what happens to the sentence, I have a shower? That's right. It changes to he has a shower. Fantastico. Okay, next. In the shower, I wash myself. Okay, what happens to the verb? Well, the verb to wash ends in sh, so we don't add s, we add es. I wash, you wash, he, she, it washes. We wash, you wash, they wash. Now, what else do we need to look at? That's right. The sentence is, I wash myself. If we change I to he, we also have to change myself to himself. So, what does the sentence become? That's right. In the shower, I wash myself becomes, in the shower, he washes himself. Magic. Next. The next one's an easy one. How do we change the sentence? I wash my face, my armpits, my torso, my legs, my knees, my feet, and everything else. Then I shave into the third person singular. Well, there's only one verb, so let's change the verb into the third person singular. The verb to wash ends in sh, which means that in the third person singular it adds es, not s. Fine. When I talk about things that belong to me, I use my. This is my watch. These are my shoulders. When we change the sentence to the third person singular, we also have to change my into, that's right, his. So I wash my face becomes he washes his face. Great. Now what about the second verb in the sentence, the verb to shave? How do we change this into the third person singular? Correctamundo. I shave changes to he shaves. I shave, you shave, he, she, it shaves. We shave, you shave, they shave. Great. So now, the whole sentence is, he washes his face, his armpits, his torso, his legs, his knees, his feet, and everything else. Then he shaves. Super duper. Next sentence, please. Okay. This sentence also has two verbs. The verb to dry and the verb to brush. What happens to these verbs when we turn them into the third person singular? Well, the verb to dry ends in a y. So in the third person singular, we change the y to ies. I dry, you dry, he, she, it dries. We dry, you dry, they dry. Good. Now what about the verb to brush? Well, the verb to brush ends in sh. So what happens to the verb in the third person singular? Bingo! We add es to the end of the verb. I brush, you brush, he, she, it brushes. We brush, you brush, they brush. Now, is there anything else we have to look at? Yes, well spotted. In this sentence, there are some other parts we need to change. My shower, myself, my teeth. We have to change these too. My becomes his. Myself becomes himself. And my teeth become his teeth. Okay, so what happens to the sentence when we change it from I to he? After my shower, I dry myself with a towel and brush my teeth. Becomes, after his shower, he dries himself with a towel and brushes his teeth. zebra, gnu, elephant, chimpanzee, orangutan, gorilla, lemur. Next sentence, please. The next one is easy. The verb is to put on. In the third person singular, this becomes, that's right, puts on. I put on, you put on, he, she, it puts on. We put on, you put on, they put on. Right. So, what do we change the sentence to? You've got it. Then I put on some antiperspirant becomes, then he puts on some antiperspirant. Magic. Next, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. Ooh. Now this one is a bit different, isn't it? This is a negative. Okay, now don't panic. Don't panic! Calm down and chill. We can handle this. Remember, we're better than the Jackson 5. They know 3 letters of the alphabet. Ha! We know all 26 letters of the alphabet. We're gods of English! Okay, back to earth. So, the original sentence is, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. Okay, it's a negative sentence. We use the verb to do to make the sentence negative. I comb my hair is positive. I don't, do not, comb my hair is negative. I brush my hair is positive. I don't, do not, brush my hair is negative. I comb and brush my hair is positive. I don't, do not, comb and brush my hair is negative. Okay, so all we have to do is to change the sentence so that it's the third person singular. Simple. Now, how do we make a negative present simple sentence? That's right, we use the verb to do. I like pizza is positive. I don't like pizza is negative. So, what about the third person singular? In the third person singular, the form of the verb is not do, but does. Remember, if the verb ends in O, we add es to the end when we make the third person singular form. I go, you go, but he goes. We do, they do, but she does. Groovy. Now, that's the positive. What's the negative? Well, I do becomes I don't. I do not. They do becomes they don't. They do not. And he, she, and it does become he, she, and it doesn't. He, she, it does not. I go becomes I don't go. I do not go. You go becomes you don't go. You do not go. And he, she, it goes becomes he, she, it doesn't go. He, she, it does not go. Fine. Simple. Easy. So, back to the sentence. Don't panic. The original sentence is, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. Now, let's look at the second part of the sentence. I just put some gel in my hair. So what do we have to change to turn the second part of the sentence into the third person singular? Correct. We have to change I into he. Then we have to change the verb to put it into the third person singular. How do we make the third person singular form of the verb to be? Correct. we add S. I put, you put, we put, you put, they put, but. He puts, she puts, and it puts. Now, let's put the sentence together. We have to change I don't into he. What's the negative? Good, doesn't. So I don't becomes he doesn't. Anything else? Yes, my hair. So my hair changes to, that's right, his hair. And then, good. Now we have to change I just put some gel in my hair to he just puts some gel in his hair. Terrific, fab, great. So the whole sentence is, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. And it becomes, he doesn't comb or brush his hair. He just puts some gel in his hair. Excellent. Crikey O'Reilly, we're out of time. Pig's trotters. Okay, that's all we've got time for today. Next lesson will change the rest of the daily routine from I to the third person singular. Terrific. Okay, that's all the time we have together today. I had fun. I hope you had fun too. Thanks for watching M5's English language learning program. This is Let's Speak English, and I'm Gav Duncan, not Sean Connery. I live in Budapest. I don't live in Kiev. Okay, hen's teeth, we're out of time. See you next lesson for more English language fun. See you later. Bye. Hello, hi and welcome once again to M5's English learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you improve your English. English from your sofa. Fantastic. So, let me welcome you to Let's Speak English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, then let's learn some English. Right, now it's time to change the rest of the routine into the third person singular. What was the last sentence? Do you remember? You're right. You're not wrong. The last sentence was the sentence, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. This is a little bit tricky because of the negative, but don't panic! We know how to make the negative with the present simple tense. The original sentence is, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. So the first thing we change is, that's right, we change I to he. It's the third person singular, remember? Good. So I becomes he. Great. Now what's the next change? Yes, don't changes to the third person singular form. He doesn't. He does not. And the last change? That's right. My hair changes to his hair. So, the original sentence is, I don't comb or brush my hair. I just put some gel in my hair. When we put it into the third person singular, we change it to, he doesn't comb or brush his hair. He just puts some gel in his hair. Terrific. Fab. Bing, 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 bong. Right, moving along. What's the next sentence? Right. The next sentence is, when my hair is perfect, I get dressed. Well, fine. Let's change that sentence into the third person singular. What's the first thing that needs to change? Right. My changes to his. Good. Now what about the first part of the sentence? Do we change anything? That's right. No, we don't change anything. My hair is perfect becomes his hair is perfect. The verb to be stays the same. Why does it stay the same? Because in both sentences it's the third person singular. My hair is it. His hair is also it. Your hair is it. Her hair is it. The first part of the sentence is in the third person singular. So when my hair is perfect changes into when his hair is perfect. Good. Now, what about the second part of the sentence? I get dressed. Well, that's easy. What's the third person singular form for the verb to get dressed? I get dressed, you get dressed, he gets dressed, she gets dressed, it gets dressed, we get dressed, you get dressed, they get dressed. So, I get dressed changes into he gets dressed. It's simple, Simon. Right, next. The next sentence is, I put on my socks and pants, and then I put on my jeans and a t-shirt. Okay, what's the first thing we have to change? We have to change I to he. And then we have to change my to his. Good. What about the verb? What's the third person singular form of the verb to put on clothes? I put on my socks, you put on your pants, he puts on his jeans, she puts on her skirt, it puts on its trousers, we put on our clothes, you put on your shoes, they put on their coats. Good. So the third person singular form adds an S. So, I put on my socks and pants becomes he puts on his socks and pants. Good. And I put on my jeans and a t-shirt becomes good. I put on my jeans and a t-shirt becomes he puts on his jeans and a t-shirt. Now, let's put that together. I put on my socks and pants, and then I put on my jeans and a t-shirt becomes he puts on his socks and pants, and then he puts on his jeans and a t-shirt. Good, great, cucumber, aubergine, Brussels sprouts. Horrible. I hate Brussels sprouts. Okay, next sentence. If I'm cold, I put on a sweatshirt or a jumper. Okay, what do we need to change first? That's right, I becomes he. So I am changes to he. That's right, the verb to be. I am, you are, he, she, it is. We are, you are, and they are. So, if I'm cold changes to if he's cold. Great. And what about the second part of the sentence? I put on a sweatshirt or a jumper. Well, what do we know about the third person singular form of the verb to put on clothes? That's right, we add an S to make the third person singular form. I put on a sweatshirt. You put on a sweatshirt. He puts on a sweatshirt. She puts on a sweatshirt, and it puts on a sweatshirt. Okay. What's the complete sentence? If I'm cold, I put on a sweatshirt or a jumper becomes if he's cold, he puts on a sweatshirt or a jumper. Fantastic. Next, what's the next sentence? When I'm dressed, I make breakfast. Simple. What do we need to change first? Correct. We change I to he. When I'm dressed becomes when he's dressed. Easy. The verb to be in the first person singular, I'm dressed, changes to the third person singular, he's dressed. Simple. And the second part of the sentence, I make breakfast. Okay. Well, what's the third person singular form for the verb to make in the present simple tense? I make, you make, he makes, she makes, it makes. Good. We add an S to the verb to make the third person singular form. So, what's the complete sentence? When I'm dressed, I make breakfast becomes when he's dressed, he makes breakfast. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, next sentence please. Simple, short and sweet. I cook eggs for breakfast. So, first change? That's right. I becomes he. Good. And what about the verb? What's the third person singular form for the verb to cook? I cook, you cook, he cooks, she cooks, it cooks. Great. So what's the complete sentence? I cook eggs for breakfast becomes he cooks eggs for breakfast. Terrific. Next sentence please. Sensei. My wife Avi likes fried eggs. I like omelettes. Good. Now what's the first thing we need to change? That's right. My changes to his and I changes to he. Good. So my wife Avi changes to his wife Avi. Simple. And what about the verb? Do we change anything? No. Nothing changes. And what about the second part of the sentence? Do we change anything here? Yes. I changes to he. And what about the verb? What is the third person singular form for the verb to like? I like, you like, he likes, she likes, it likes. So, I like omelettes changes to he likes omelettes. So, all together, what do we have? My wife Avi likes fried eggs. I like omelettes. Changes to his wife Avi likes fried eggs. He likes omelettes. Brilliant. And the next sentence, maestro, please. We drink coffee and mineral water for breakfast. Okay, what do we need to change first? That's right, we. Now it's not we, now it's they. So we drink coffee becomes they drink coffee. So the whole sentence is we drink coffee and mineral water for breakfast becomes they drink coffee and mineral water for breakfast. Simple. Okay, and on we go to the next sentence. I like sparkling mineral water, water with bubbles. Avi likes still mineral water, water without bubbles. Okay, it's a long sentence, but it's an easy sentence. What's the first thing we have to change? That's right, I changes to he. Good. What about Avi? Do we have to change anything there? No, that part of the sentence doesn't change. She still likes still mineral water. We don't have to change anything. Superb. Okay, let's put the sentence together. I like sparkling mineral water, water with bubbles. Avi likes still mineral water, water without bubbles. Becomes he likes sparkling mineral water, water with bubbles. Avi likes still mineral water, water without bubbles. Right, magic, almost finished. What's the next sentence? The next sentence is, after breakfast, I wash up the dishes. Okay, so what do we change first? That's right, we change I to he. Good. And then, well, then we have to change the verb to wash up into the third person singular form. I wash up, you wash up, he washes up, she washes up, it washes up. So, to make the third person singular form of the verb to wash up, we add es. Good. Now, all together, what's the sentence? The original sentence, after breakfast I wash up the dishes, becomes, after breakfast he washes up the dishes. Marvellous, Martian, monkey, manatee, mammoth. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, fish, rabbits and monkeys. The final sentence of the daily routine. Then we start work. Okay, so what do we have to change? That's right, we changes to they. And what else? Do we change the verb? No! Why? Because they is not the third person singular form. I start, you start, he starts, she starts, it starts, we start, you start, they start. Simple, they start. So the final sentence, then we start work, changes to then they start work. Easy. Oh blimey, elephant's toenails, we're out of time. Okay, well, that's the end of today's lesson. Now we know how to make the third person singular form of lots of verbs in the present simple tense. Next lesson, we'll look at some more verbs and learn some professions, some jobs. I had fun today. I hope you had fun too. Thanks for watching. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Roger Moore and I'm not Roger Rabbit. I'll see you next time for more English on M5's English learning program, Let's Speak English. See you later. Bye. Hello, hi and welcome once again to M5's English learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you improve your English. Learn English sitting down on your sofa. Fantastic. So let me welcome you to Let's Speak English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, then let's learn some English. Right, so we all know what we learned this week. Verbs. That's right, this week we learned the present simple tense with lots of new useful verbs. We learned when we use the present simple tense. Do you remember? We use the present simple tense with things that don't change, things that stay the same. Your name, for example, or where you live. I'm Gav Duncan. I live in Budapest. Some other things don't change. My grandparents are dead. That is a fact. They're not coming back. Well, maybe as zombies, but that's not very likely, is it? Okay, so now that we know that my grandparents are dead and are not zombies, let's get back to the English lesson. Right. So, when else do we use the present simple tense? Okay, we saw that we use it with things that are generally true. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, for example. We also use the present simple with permanent situations. He works in a bank. She lives in Montreal. And we use it when we talk about doing things regularly, when we use words like always, never, sometimes, usually and normally. I always eat lasagna on Christmas Day. You never drink vodka. He sometimes eats pork. She usually goes to work by bus. It normally arrives at 7 p.m. Now, with the present simple tense, we have to be careful with what? That's right, you all remember. We have to be careful with the spelling of the third person singular. All the other forms of the verb are the same, but the third person singular changes. In most cases, the third person singular adds an S to the end of the infinitive. We say they eat tofu, but my dog eats tofu. Now, as you remember, some verbs don't add S in the third person singular form. Verbs which end in SS, like the verb to kiss, or X, like the verb to fax, or the verb to fix, or CH, like the verb to punch, or SH, like the verb to fish, or O, like the verb to go, add not S, but what? That's right. These verbs add ES to the infinitive when we make the third person singular. Alfredo kisses Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson punches Alfredo. Mr. Reparo Man fixes broken televisions. Alfredo's son John fishes every weekend. Mary Benchfield goes to work every day. Also, if the verb ends in consonant plus Y, we change the Y to IES for the third person singular. So, parrots fly, but my parrot flies. I study, but she studies. Right. Today, let's look at some occupations. Occupation is a synonym for job. Occupation is more formal than job, but occupation and job are synonyms. When we meet someone, we usually ask them questions. It's natural to ask people questions. We like to get information about people. When we meet people, we usually ask them things like, what's your name? Or where are you from? Or where do you live? Now, if we want to ask someone about their job or occupation, what do we ask? Well, remember lesson 27. In lesson 27, we learned that we often ask the question, what do you do? This is the same as, what is your job? If someone asks me, what do you do? I say, I'm a teacher. So when we meet someone and want to know more information about them, we ask, what do you do? To get information about the person's job or occupation. Good. Now, listen to the conversation between Alfredo Benchfield and Dave Squid. Hello, I'm Alfredo Benchfield. Hi, I'm Dave Squid. Dave Squid? That's an interesting name. Yes, I got it from my father. Where are you from, Dave? I'm from London. Where are you from, Alfredo? I'm also from London. Do you live near here? Yes, I live near here. I've got a house near here. I live there with my wife and our 4 children. That's nice. I've got a flat nearby. I live there with my girlfriend. What do you do, Alfredo? I work in a bank. I'm a bank clerk. What do you do, Dave? I'm a policeman. Okay, a conversation. Crikey. Let's look at that again. Alfredo and Dave asked different questions about each other, and now we know that Alfredo and his family live in a house near the pub. Dave isn't married, but he's got a girlfriend. Dave and his girlfriend live near the pub. Alfredo said that he lives near there. Dave said that he lives nearby. What's the difference? Well, the difference is that nearby means near to here. Near could be near somewhere else. If I say I live nearby, we know that I live in this area. If I say I live near here, it's the same as I live nearby. But I could say I live near Nyíregyháza Zoo. Then I live near to something, but it's not near here, so it's not nearby. Right, so now we know more about Alfredo and Dave. Alfredo works in a bank. He's a bank clerk. Dave is a policeman. He works in a police station. Alfredo has a wife and 4 kids. Dave has a girlfriend. Now it's time to learn some jobs and occupations. Look at this list of jobs and occupations. Before we listen to the descriptions, let's have a look at some new verbs and some new vocabulary. To look after, to protect, to attack, to defend, to bring, to take, to cut, to find, to start, to finish, to plan, to draw, to sell, to use, to connect, to telephone or to phone, to clean, to borrow, a bill, a gun, a uniform, a plan. Now, listen to the description of what the person does and work out what their job is. Here's an example. This person works in a hospital. This person looks after sick people in hospital. This person is not a doctor, but this person works with doctors. So, what do you think the job is? That's right, this person is a nurse. Okay, let's look at the rest of the jobs and occupations. This person cuts hair, but this person only cuts men's hair. This person also cuts hair, but this person cuts everyone's hair. Men's hair, women's hair, children's hair, everyone's hair. This person works in a cafe or restaurant. This person asks you what you want to eat and drink, and then this person brings the food and drink to your table. When you're ready to leave, this person brings you the bill. This person works in a shop. This person helps you find things in the shop. This person also puts things onto shelves in the shop. This person also works in a shop. This person works with money. When you finish shopping, this is the person you pay at the till. This person plans buildings. This person draws a plan of houses and other buildings. This person cuts and sells meat. This person works with water. This person uses pipes to connect water to your house or flat. If there is a problem with a water pipe in your house or flat, you phone this person. This person drives a bus. This person flies a plane. This person cleans houses or flats or offices. This person works in a place where there are lots of books. When you want to borrow a book, you go to see this person. This person looks after your teeth. If your tooth hurts, you go to see this person. Great, fantastic, magic. So, now we know lots of new jobs and lots of new words connected to those jobs. Now, let's look at those jobs again. Let's look at the people who do those jobs and the verbs we use with the jobs. Let's start with Alfredo. Alfredo works in a bank. He's a bank clerk. He helps people. He sits at a desk in the bank and he helps people. When someone brings money to the bank, Alfredo helps put the money onto their bank account. When somebody needs money from their account, Alfredo also helps. Sometimes people don't need Alfredo's help. They can use the ATM, the cash machine, to pay money onto their account and get money from their account. Okay, now let's look at those sentences again. Alfredo sits at a desk in the bank. Okay, no problem. We know the verb to sit. When we eat, we normally sit down first. When we watch TV, we sit. When we watch a film in the cinema, we sit in the cinema. Good. Now what about the verb to bring? Well, that's easy too. When I move something from there to here, I use the verb to bring. Think about a delivery man. When I order a camera on the internet, how does it get to me? How does it get from the factory in China to my flat? That's right, the delivery man brings it. He moves the camera from the factory or warehouse to my flat. He brings it to me. The postman does the same thing. When somebody sends me a letter, the postman brings the letter to me. When Alfredo is at work, people bring money to the bank. Alfredo helps them put the money onto their account. When Alfredo is at work, people come to the bank to pay money in and to take money out. Alfredo helps people put money onto their bank accounts, and Alfredo helps people take money out of their bank accounts. Right, well, crikey, look at the time. That's all the time we have for today's lesson. Okay, so today was lesson 30, the 30th lesson in M5's new English language learning program, Let's Speak English. Today we looked at jobs and occupations and learned some new verbs. We know that Alfredo Benchfield is a bank clerk and Dave Squid is a policeman. Great! Well, I had fun today. I hope you had fun too. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Justin Bieber. I'm not Michael J. Fox. I'm Gav Duncan. See you next lesson for more English fun. See you later. Bye.